a mercenary soldier who takes on impossible missions that an entire battalion couldn't handle. This is the recap of Extraction Part 1 and 2, one of the most intense action movies ever made. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. Mercenary Tyler Rake is critically wounded and taking cover in the midst of an intense firefight. As he leans against a car, losing blood, his mind flashes back to how it all began. In Mumbai, India, teenage Ovi Mahajan Jr., the son of India's most powerful drug lord, currently behind bars, is kidnapped during a night out at a club. Armed men posing as police officers kill his friend and abduct him on behalf of Amir Asif, Bangladesh's most feared drug kingpin and Mahajan's biggest rival. Mahajan's trusted lieutenant, Saju Rav, visits him in prison to deliver the news. Mahajan insists the kidnapping isn't about ransom, but a power play to humiliate him. He orders Saju to infiltrate Asif's heavily guarded compound and bring his son back. When Saju hesitates, saying the mission would require an army, Mahajan threatens that if Ovi isn't rescued, Saju's own son won't live to see his next birthday. Back home, Saju tells his wife, Nesa, that with Mahajan's assets frozen, he's the only hope for getting Ovi back. He confesses that he knows someone capable of the job, but the price will be far more than Mahajan can afford. Nesa urges him to do whatever it takes. Meanwhile, in Kimberley, Australia, Tyler Rake spends his days drinking with friends and performing reckless stunts, like leaping off cliffs into the ocean. When he returns home, he finds Nick Khan waiting. She presents the extraction mission and warns him it's extremely risky. Tyler accepts, saying he needs the money. Nick, concerned by his drinking and pill use, hesitates, thinking he's on a path to self-destruction, but agrees to bring him in as long as he shows up sober. Tyler and Nick travel to Dhaka, Bangladesh, where they regroup with their team and receive detailed intel on the extraction mission. Tyler heads into the city to confront the kidnappers. Upon arrival, he's blindfolded and forced into a van. When the blindfold is removed, they demand payment. Tyler refuses to comply until he sees proof that Ovi is alive. One of the men pulls an empty trigger bluff by aiming a gun at Tyler's head and pulling the trigger, but Tyler doesn't flinch, having already noticed the gun lacks a magazine. They eventually show him Ovi, tied up and gagged in a nearby room. With support from his team snipers, Tyler swiftly eliminates the kidnappers in a brutal assault, sparing only a young boy forced into soldiering, urging him to walk away. He frees Ovi, and the two begin their tense escape. Elsewhere, Amir Asif, enraged by the disruption, resorts to ruthless tactics. He orders children thrown from a rooftop until one confesses to taking his money. A teenage boy named Farhad falsely accuses the already dead child to stop the carnage. Asif, impressed by his cunning, instructs him to cut off 2 of his fingers as a warning to others. Just before Farhad complies, Asif is informed that Ovi has escaped. The punishment is halted, and Asif immediately orders a full lockdown of the city and its transportation routes. Tyler records a video showing Ovi is alive and under his protection, then sets off toward the extraction point, where part of the team is waiting. However, at the command center, Nick and her crew discover that the promised funds haven't been transferred. The mission has been compromised. The extraction team on the ground is soon ambushed and gunned down by Bangladeshi forces. Tyler and Ovi are forced to flee through the city streets. In the chaos, they're intercepted by a man among the armed pursuers. It's Saju, who urges Ovi to come with him. Ovi hesitates, believing Saju works for his father, but Tyler, suspicious of the setup, throws a grenade and drags Ovi to safety. Tension builds as Ovi defends Saju, but Tyler remains wary, sensing there's more to the story. Tyler finds himself in a relentless, high-stakes chase, first by car through the twisting streets of Dhaka, and then on foot. As bullets fly, he fights off numerous armed pursuers, all while keeping Ovi safe by his side. The pursuit escalates into a brutal hand-to-hand battle between Tyler and Saju, spanning several floors of a building and spilling out into the streets. During the chaos, Tyler is struck by a car, giving Saju the upper hand. Saju eliminates several Bangladeshi officers and grabs Ovi, but Tyler recovers and slams into Saju with a stolen truck, reclaiming Ovi and sparking another intense police chase. They barely escape the vehicle before it explodes. Wounded and exhausted, Tyler relies on Ovi's help to limp away from the wreckage. Once in hiding, Tyler instructs Ovi on how to treat his injuries, a moment of growing trust between them. Back at the ops base, Nick contacts Tyler with critical intel. Saju is ex-Special Forces, and the entire mission was a setup. The client never intended to pay the team. She provides the location of a new extraction point, but insists that Tyler must leave Ovi behind. Tyler refuses, asking her to find the money. Ovi overhears and bitterly remarks that Tyler, like his father, only sees him as cargo, not a person. Elsewhere, a battered and bleeding Saju tends to his own wounds, brutally realigning his broken nose. He makes a final call to his wife Nasa, telling her to disappear with their son if she doesn't hear from him within 12 hours. With a heavy heart, he speaks to his son, likely for the last time. As Tyler and Ovi resume their journey to the extraction point, they are ambushed by Farhad, now fully armed and accompanied by other child soldiers under Asif's command. Tyler fights them off and takes Ovi through the city's underground sewer system in a desperate bid to escape. He contacts Nick once more, who is alarmed to learn he's still with Ovi. Tyler asks her to reach out to Gasper, a retired mercenary living nearby. Though Nick warns it's a bad idea, Tyler insists. Gasper owes him. Gasper soon arrives, picks them up, and brings them to his home. There, he and Tyler share a quiet drink. But even in this moment of calm, Gasper warns, escaping the city won't be easy. After failing to capture Tyler, Farhad pays the price, literally, by having one of his fingers cut off. Humiliated and desperate, he begs Asif for another chance, insisting that Tyler made a fool of him and promising he can finish the job. Meanwhile, at Gasper's safe house, Ovi quietly apologizes to Tyler, blaming himself for the danger they're in. But Tyler insists the fault is his alone. Ovi calls him brave, prompting Tyler to open up for the first time. He reveals he once had a wife and a young son who died of lymphoma while Tyler was away on a voluntary tour in Afghanistan. He couldn't bear to watch his child die and fled to war instead. That's not bravery, he tells Ovi with painful honesty. Later, Gasper delivers grim news. There's no way Ovi will make it out of Bangladesh alive. Asif has too much power, too many men. Gasper tells Tyler the merciful option is to kill the boy quickly before Asif can get to him. He reveals that Asif has placed a $10 million bounty on Ovi, and that he has already taken the deal. Tyler and Gasper can walk away alive if they hand the boy over. Gasper even offers to do the killing himself, claiming he's saving Tyler's life. This betrayal sparks a vicious brawl between the two men. Just as Gasper is about to deliver a fatal blow, Ovi enters with Tyler's gun. When Gasper charges at him, Ovi pulls the trigger, shooting him twice and killing him. Tyler rushes to comfort the shaken boy, holding him as he cries. Out of options, Tyler contacts Saju and arranges a meeting. He tells him he no longer cares about the money. He just wants to get Ovi out alive. Saju confesses how Mahajan threatened his family, leaving him with no choice. The two form a fragile alliance. Tyler offers to draw enemy fire so that Saju can escort Ovi to safety. Tyler creates a massive distraction by blowing up a vehicle and unleashing heavy fire, giving Saju and Ovi a window to escape by car. But when they're stuck in traffic, they're forced to flee on foot. Police intercept them, and a fierce gunfight breaks out. While Saju battles the police, Tyler takes on waves of enemy forces. At the extraction point, Nick arrives with reinforcements. Armed with heavy weapons, she brings down an enemy helicopter with a rocket launcher, as Asif watches from a rooftop, stunned and powerless, as his grip on the situation begins to unravel. Saju fights to clear a path across the bridge for Ovi, but he's quickly pinned down under heavy enemy fire. Seeing the boy exposed, Tyler charges in, taking out multiple enemies in a desperate effort to protect him. Just as hope seems possible, a sniper's bullet strikes Saju in the head, killing him instantly and leaving Ovi alone in the chaos. Nick, positioned as a sniper herself, eliminates the enemy marksman. Tyler pushes forward, taking down the remaining soldiers on the ground, but he sustains severe injuries, bringing the story full circle to the film's opening. As Tyler collapses, fading in and out of consciousness, he envisions his son. Ovi reaches him, crying, and clutches his hand. Tyler, in his final act of protection, urges Ovi to run to the waiting helicopter. Though reluctant to leave, Ovi obeys and makes the sprint. As the path clears, Tyler finds the strength to rise and move toward the extraction point. But just as freedom is within reach, a bullet tears through his neck. Nick and Ovi, watching from the helicopter, are horrified. The shooter is revealed to be Farhad, who manages to flee despite Nick returning fire. Ovi tries to run to Tyler, but Nick holds him back. As Tyler lies dying, his final thoughts are of his son, just before his body falls from the bridge into the river below. 8 months later, Ovi has returned to his life in India, attempting to move on. Meanwhile, Asif still holds power in Bangladesh, until one final reckoning. Entering a bathroom, Asif is ambushed by Nick, who calmly shoots him in the head and fires several more rounds into his body, delivering justice at last. In a quiet moment, Ovi dives into a swimming pool. Earlier, he had told Tyler that it's not the fall into the water that kills you, it's staying under it. As he resurfaces, stronger now, a mysterious figure watches him silently from the edge of the pool, suggesting that Tyler may still be alive. The story picks up shortly after the events of the first film, with Tyler Rake barely clinging to life after his fall. He is rescued and hospitalized in Dubai, where his partner Nick remains at his side until he finally regains consciousness. Nick reminds him that he must have survived for a reason, and that it's up to him to find out what that reason is. Meanwhile, in a Georgian prison, crime boss Zurab Radiani learns that his younger brother David has had his sentence extended by another 10 years. Enraged, Zurab confronts the official responsible and brutally kills him with a pitchfork before unleashing his men, the Nagazi, to slaughter the guards and free David. Nick and her brother Yaz later bring Tyler to a remote cabin in Austria, where he plans to retire in solitude. But despite his efforts to keep busy, Tyler continues to mourn the death of his son and the collapse of his marriage. David returns home to his wife, Ketavan, and their children, Sandro and Nina. Determined to raise his son in his own violent image, David pushes Sandro to join the Nagazi, much to Ketavan's disapproval. Still, Sandro idolizes his father. Tyler is soon approached by a mysterious man named Alcott, who convinces him to hear a job offer. Alcott explains the history of the Nagazi and the Radiani brothers, who survived the Georgian Civil War but endured years of abuse from their father. This trauma left Zurab fiercely protective of David. Alcott tasks Tyler with extracting Ketavan and her children from the prison where they are being held alongside David. Reluctantly, Tyler accepts, recruiting Nick and Yaz to join him as he trains and prepares for the mission. The team infiltrates the prison and reaches Ketavan's cell. Tyler manages to get her and the children out quietly, but loyal inmates quickly notice and sound the alarm. Forced to act fast, Tyler fights through the prisoners and eventually comes face-to-face with David. The two clash briefly before Tyler fatally stabs David in the neck. As chaos erupts, Tyler battles waves of prisoners and guards amid a violent riot. He rushes Ketavan and her children to Nick and Yaz's van. But news of David's death soon reaches Zurab, who orders his men to pursue them. What follows is an explosive chase. The family flees by car, only to board a train while pursued by Zurab's forces and a helicopter. After fierce combat, Tyler takes down more of Zurab's men, protecting Ketavan and the children as the train derails and crashes in a fiery wreck. Zurab identifies his brother's body and immediately rallies his men to seek revenge. Meanwhile, Tyler, Nick, Yaz, and the rescued family regroup, but tensions rise when Sandro discovers that Tyler was the one who killed his father. While they board a plane, Nick learns a surprising truth. Ketavan is Tyler's former sister-in-law. The revelation sparks a brief, reflective conversation about Tyler's failed marriage to her sister. Unbeknownst to them, Sandro secretly contacts Zurab, revealing their location. The group transports Ketavan and her children to a safe house in Vienna. There, Tyler opens up to Nick about his past, and later confronts Sandro, who still resents him for David's death. Before they can settle the matter, Zurab's helicopter descends upon the safe house. Kidnapping realizes that Sandro betrayed them, forcing everyone to scatter. As the gunfire erupts, Tyler manages to get Kidnapping and Nina to safety, while Yez runs after Sandro, only to see him willingly leave with Zurab. Tyler, Nick, and Yez engage in a brutal firefight, killing several of Zurab's men, but tragedy strikes when Zurab shoots Yez during the escape. The team boards a helicopter, but Yez succumbs to his wounds, leaving Nick devastated as she mourns her brother. Seeking refuge, Tyler brings the family back to his cabin, where his ex-wife Mia arrives to support her sister and niece. In a private moment, Mia confronts Tyler about abandoning their son in his final hours. With visible pain, Tyler admits that he couldn't bear to watch his child die, and instead ran from the helplessness he felt. Soon after, Zurab contacts Tyler directly. Ready to settle the conflict once and for all, Tyler provides his location, an airfield near a church, and agrees to face him there. Despite Nick's objections, he insists on going alone, leaving her behind to protect the family. Tyler destroys Zurab's escape vehicles, both his vans and plane, leaving him with no way out. After eliminating the last of Zurab's men, Tyler finally confronts him inside a church, only to discover Sandro strapped with a bomb rigged to detonate if Zurab is killed. As the tension peaks, Nick arrives to assist but is shot in the process. Despite her injuries, she manages to help Sandro remove and disarm the explosive. With Sandro safe, Tyler and Zurab engage in a vicious, bloody showdown. Zurab, despite multiple stab wounds, vows he will never stop hunting Tyler. Unwilling to give him another chance, Tyler ends it with a bullet to Zurab's head. Nick collapses from her wounds just as authorities arrive and take them both into custody. Tyler and Nick are later hospitalized under police watch. During Tyler's recovery, his ex-wife Mia visits him in prison, informing him that Kidnapping and her children have been placed under protective custody but have lost their assets to the U.S. government. Determined to help, Tyler instructs Mia to retrieve a hidden stash of $1 million from his cabin to support them. Not long after, Alcott secures Tyler's release from prison with an offer for a new mission. Tyler, however, refuses unless Nick is included. Alcott then reveals that Nick has also been freed, presenting them both with an opportunity to join the powerful organization he represents.